All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hopefully everyone's feeling well. It is 6:30. It is the third quarter. It is July 1st. We have a holiday this week. Hopefully, again, everyone had a good weekend. Take a little disclosure. Let's get to it. What's up, everyone? My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Welcome to today's 6:30 Club. The 6:30 Club was established during the pandemic, 2020. Here we are, 2024. Wow. That's the only way to be successful is consistency, discipline, day in, day out. And here we are, heading into the second half of the year. Hopefully everyone had a great first half of the year. Dealt with, we all have our own little sets of problems to deal with and our own little setbacks. And the only way you get through setbacks is getting back on your feet and figuring it out. Anyway, let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world. If anyone's around, I know a lot of people have been heading out to the mountains and the beaches for the holiday. We got Sarang in the house. We got Tony Wallace. We got Joe Repsol. We got Sarang. We got Blair. What up? Good morning. RKD. Good morning from Connecticut. We got Nebraska in the house. Austin. What's up? What's up? We got Massapequa. South Shore, Long Island. I grew up in Syosset. What's up, buddy? Hey, thanks, Sam. I did have a good weekend. So I did do some videos this weekend. I actually kind of walked and jogged twice in the reservation with Caden, so I'm getting back on my feet, back into training. I put a race on the calendar for October. Actually, first time frisky time with the wife after a month, so it's good to see everything works. I didn't have a heart attack there. And did a little sauna ice barrel. I didn't put 4 bags of ice, but I did put some hose water. And anyway, with that said, here we are, new quarter. I did see a lot of talk out there about Friday. What does Friday mean? That last 15-minute sell-off into the close. Just so you know, sometimes you get a mechanical sell-off in the end of the quarter. Sometimes you get a rebalance in the end of the quarter. So it does create some candles that don't look so great, but it doesn't really sometimes hold water. So we'll see what happens in the first day or two to see if they get negated real fast. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if you look here at the S&P cash, you just look at this and you have no idea what day of the week it was or this and that. And you would say, wow, look at that. We went through 55.05. We went through 54.90, did a red dog reversal sell by hitting 55.23 and closed pretty much below, Thursday's low. And, it's pretty bearish looking. But then, on the flip side, you're like, okay, you're still up in this upper channel. Was still above the 8-day, is still above the 21-day, and some things still look decent. And maybe it was just, a sell program, which I kind of think it was. So we'll see what happens here. Does the market try and take back some of Friday today into the holiday, or do we wind up, opening up a little bit and selling down? Hold on, we shall see. So right now at this point, you have the SPYs up 40 cents. So we'll see if the opening strength builds. Just don't short the open because you think there's going to be follow-up selling to Friday, just in case, again, it was mechanical. So here's the SPYs. SPYs look similar. So what I would do is with the SPYs, I would say, hey, this is your line in the sand, 542.45. Can't get too bearish if 542.45 holds. If we go a little sideways and it repairs a little bit, maybe it stays in this channel. We get to see where new flows go for the new quarter, etc. But if all of a sudden this were to break, then perhaps, hey, maybe we do get a little corrective phase. For some reason, every time I'm at the Prez outing, I go to an outing next Monday. My friend who passed away of leukemia, it's his 22nd year. For some reason, there's always something crazy that happens. 10 different times, in that July, for some reason, it's always like July 9th or 10th. You had Fannie and Freddie implode. You had AIG implode. We had all these things happen. So, maybe if you think this is going to break, if you think so, maybe go out to the following Friday and buy some like 540 puts, to just have on maybe, in case we get some kind of corrective phase in July. If you want to. If not, we'll see what happens today. some people are like, hey, Red Dog, we made so much money in Amazon, but that candle on Friday scares the bejesus out of me. Listen, I understand, okay? But again, this shouldn't be so scary yet. Listen, this is when we started putting on, actually, no, here, this is when Amazon woke up. This was 185. Okay, so if you use a tier system, you had this candle to put on those 192.5 calls for last week. Then you had this candle, which woke it up. This was your add-on candle. This was your tier one. But then I remember this candle, everyone's like, Red Dog, it's a Red Dog reversal, sell, it's over. I'm like, just from where we came from to here, this isn't the end of the world. All it did is come into the 8 day. So now you're on a little bit more wait and see mode. Then you had an inside day in POW. So although this candle wasn't so pretty, I know for me, which I did tweet to you guys, I if I was in tier 2 here, tier 3 here, I was selling my 192.5s and 195s above 192.5, 195. And I even think I tweeted when it was above 199, I'm like, I'm down to 25% of what I had on because I was booking money. I use a tier system. So, and then even on Friday, Amazon went green for a good 5 minutes. So if you're like, Amazon's a little extended, I want to roll up my options, which is what I did. I took off the 192.5s and the 195s and I rolled them into the 200s for this Friday and next Friday. This didn't really mean much. Look where the 8 day is. We were just that extended. So now what? This is the low, 192.50 from Friday. So let's put that in there, 192.50. That is your point of reference. And we'll see what happens today. Does Amazon, kind of go sideways and digest this candle? It's already up $1.40 this morning. There's actually some news out there that they're going to invest like $10 billion into their AWS infrastructure, which is what they want, what the street wants to see for so these companies to handle the AI chips. I'm not going to get into that whole thing, but bottom line is we're up $1.43. I was buying Amazon into that. I kind of thought that this was mechanical. I also thought Apple was mechanical too. So I did position a little bit into the close. At the end of the quarter, everyone always has too much Apple on the books because they put it in and then all of a sudden Apple does their buyback and then these funds are like, oh my goodness, my ratio of Apple is too much compared to the S&P. So at the end of the quarter, they always sell some. So to me, this is an ugly candle. Also, not the greatest looking candle. Oops, what the hell in Apple. But I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. I did buy into the close. So here is here's the low for Apple. This is 210.30. And we'll see, does new flows come in and repair this candle today or not? I'm going to be on my toes. If right now Apple's up 65 cents. I know I was buying into this, into the pullback. I also bought some calls. I'll trim some into the 60, 80, 90 cent pop and I'll hold some and we'll see. Does Apple and Amazon repair pretty fast? That's going to be a question for today and tomorrow. What kind of bounce back does it have? Is it a very feeble one? If it's a very feeble one and Apple's only up 60, 70 cents today and you can't get moving, all right, chances are maybe this breaks and then you see a move back to 206 and that means it's not getting back to 220 anytime fast this week. So you just have to adjust. So I do think today, tomorrow is going to be interesting as far as, did Friday's last 15 minute swoon mean anything? Then everybody's talking about NVDA. I get it. NVIDIA has also like an inside type wedge. At this moment, it's opening lower below this. So does NVIDIA stay below 122 and retest 118 today? Or does it open up down 2 and go green at some point in the morning with some new flows? That'll give us some clues on how weak the semis are or how much time they need. But as of right now, ever since we put a sell, yes, most people had their best day of the second quarter that Thursday, June 20th, when I said semis are overheated, overcrowded, and people were buying NVIDIA puts. They were getting short. And look at this 3-day down move. They did fantastic. If they did that there, they also did it in the SMHs. They bought the SO. This was probably one of my best calls ever. Not ever, just whatever, calls a call. But a lot of people were ready for it. People wanted a pullback. And now, you do have a bit of a bear flag here. It never got up to 269, never got up to 273. It's back in this spot. If the SMHs are to break 255 this week, that would probably, not be great for the semis. They probably go lower. But again, when the semis have been going lower, sometimes, the what's it called? The other mega cap tech names have been getting better moves. So I'm going to still stay focused to see whether or not Apple and Amazon could be good. We had a great trade in Tesla. And I even tweeted to you guys later. I'm like, because again, I took off most of my Tesla when it was 202. I didn't get 203. I got 202, but I was buying the kajesus out of it here, the 192 50s and stuff. So with that being said, I got out of most, and then I was like, hey, I wasn't on my desk, but when we pulled into like 195, 196 on Friday, I'm like, guys, if you sold 202 because you used a tier system and you netted money, you have the luxury to buy back 195. But if you're going to do it, do with options, just because, the deliveries are coming out on Monday or Tuesday or sometime this week. I don't think they came out already. And if that's going to be the case, you don't want to, it's almost like an earnings play. So you don't want to get caught. But either which way, Tesla's been acting better. Tesla and Amazon were really my best trades last week. They were absolutely fantastic. And, sometimes I feel bad about myself when I write better than I trade. Sometimes I trade better than I write. Sometimes, they get together. And last week was one of those times where I really was hyper-focused on that move in Amazon and Tesla, and both worked out great besides all the other little things. But anyway, it's a new week. It's a new quarter. It's a new you. Now, it doesn't have to be new you, just a little bit more of a better version, hopefully. I need a better version also. You know what? Meta is just really hard. Look at that candle in Meta. What a pain in the butt. It also, at the end of, at the end of the day, all of a sudden there was a big sell program. And, the question is, does this candle that engulfed both of these mean anything? Meta was kind of lagging regardless. So see what happens today. I'm not going to probably be trading Meta. Two of my thoughts, perhaps, for July is, can you go out and buy like $93 puts? Calls. I'm sorry. Here's your descending trend line. This is what the XLE looks like. If you remember, we made a lot of money buying the $88 calls. I kind of think if we get some kind of rebalance trade in July for the summer where the semis still need time to digest, mega cap tech takes their turns, but if money wants to rotate because everyone's still waiting for this big IWM, XBI, XLE trade, I'm having so much fun in mega cap tech land. But if it's going to happen, this is going to get above 91.50 and 93, and maybe you even get a move to 95. So the options on the XLE are really cheap. They really are. So I bought some 90, some 93s for Friday, which is probably too soon. So right around here, I'm probably going to go out to I don't know why the calendar is. I can't even click on this. So right now, if I look at my calendar, which I'll put in the chart, let's go calendar. Where are we? I would say go July 19th. Buy like the $93 calls, and then this way, if money does rotate to energy, maybe you catch a move here. So that's just like a new type of trade, a trade that hasn't been working, because look at this descending channel, but now it looks like it might change. Same thing with the XBI. There are a lot of bio guys that are like, Red Dog, it's going to be a biotech summer. I'm like, I don't really like playing the biotechs, but maybe I'll position a little bit here. The XBI doesn't look so great. I know I made a lot of money in the XBI. I went and had this cup and handle pattern, and it took out this 94 to get to 100. That was awesome. Okay, ever since then, it hasn't really done a whole hell of a lot. So if the bios are going to be any good, it's going to have to get above this 94-ish area. So if you think the bios might wake up this summer, then, hey, maybe buy yourself some $95 calls. Go out to July 19th or put on a call spread. And then if things start to get better, you make a move. So those are two other, I saw that on Meta too. Those are two other ideas besides, the usual suspects. So with that being said, my thoughts for the next 2 weeks, like I was just talking to my friend Peter, who's going away. He's going away for the next 2-3 weeks, and he's not sure what's going to happen in July. I'm like, well, you could do like 4 things. Okay, if you're away for the summer, if we're going to get this pullback that a lot of people are talking about, because sometimes you get that, sometimes you don't. Okay, perhaps go out to July 19th, so you're giving yourself enough time, and buy the 540 puts. Okay, buy the 540 puts. If you have a huge portfolio and you think you want to hedge it, I would buy the 540 puts. Okay, that's something as a hedge. If tech's going to still be awesome, I have a feeling at some point by then, Amazon's going to probably take out this 199 to see 202, 206, 208. So maybe into this pullback, you go out and buy the $200 calls or the 202 calls just in case tech wants to continue. So that would be your bullish cover there. And then just in case money rotates, you go buy some cheap XLE and XBI calls. So having those four things on when you go into, Hawaii or Europe or the mountains for the next 2-3 weeks, if you had to do something, maybe those are four trades that two could work out at once, or one or two of them and cover another if you have to do it. Or if you're at your seats like I am, you'll figure it out and you could adjust daily and weekly. I will be leaving though on Wednesday for July 4th, but so I won't be at my desk for the jobs report on Friday. So I'll figure out how I want to continue to position. I did have one of my better weeks of the year last week. So congratulations, great. I'm allowed to have a good week too. I needed it. And now I'll see, what the flows look like the next day and a half, and then adjust, and I'll be here. And then we'll figure out what the story is as we move through July. But the story should be relaxing, feeding the brain, making some money, adjusting your habits, doing things better, and then this way the money will come. Either which way, we'll see if today's early strength holds or does it fade. Do we get any kind of commitment to Friday's candle, or it was just maybe mechanical, and it could also get just negated. Remember this candle? This candle tried to kind of hang in there for 2 days, and then you made new lows. This candle it has a little bit of meaning, but again, I'm taking it with a grain of salt. For an order for the bears to growl, it's got to get up below and stay below 542.45, and right now we're not. All right, guys, good luck today. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. My dogs around the world. Here's the technical analysis that unites continents. That's what I did with all my guys. I would go visit them in the Ukraine or Uzbekistan or China, and we'll see how it goes. Yes. Oh, Space Specialist loves Woof. A lot of inside buying for this little stock. Had a candle. This was a nice candle. So there are other things out there. I'm not gonna. I don't have enough time in the day to go over all of them. But Space Specialist, who's always up, always doing his thing, likes this. Yeah, maybe take a little bit of a loo. As far as the roaring kitty, I don't give a freaking shit what he's doing. Excuse my French. Maybe there's a trade there. Following him is not going to make you a living. Follow your own process. Every now and then when the technicals line up and he does his little whatever he does, yeah, you can make a little bit of peanuts, but then chances are you're mostly getting caught. Don't get caught following guys who people glorify for no particular reason. Anyway, that's my thought there. Have a great day.